Okay, we're back with more of this Harry Potter stupidity, and it's the Mary Sue this time that has decided to chime in on the controversy. Hermione is black now, but that isn't enough. Okay, well, I like how they used an image from Tumblr. When I heard that Hermione Granger would be portrayed by a black woman in the upcoming Harry Potter sequel stage play, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, I wasn't as happy as everyone else. Why not? It's not because I'm a racist white person, because that's the only reason that you could ever disagree with changing of a character's race in a work of fiction. You have to be a racist. That is key. It's not okay. So yeah, it's not because she's a racist white person. On the contrary, I am a young black woman who leaned on Hermione Granger in high school whenever I felt too out of place. As much as I'm happy for actress Noma Dumezwani, I think, I can't help but feel that Hermione being cast as a black woman came a bit late. I think this is funny because she says, "Okay, yes, I am a young black woman, and I leaned on Hermione Granger in high school." So that means that she felt that she related to this character in spite of the fact that they did not share a skin color, which to me sounds perfectly normal because last time I checked, you don't need to share the same skin tone to have common ground. Growing up with the Harry Potter series, I rarely knew or noticed that there were people of color in the books. Uh-oh. When I read the third book for the first time, I found myself wondering whether Hermione was black or not when I saw her described as very brown. Okay, so I don't know what description she's referring to, as I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but why would it even matter? I mean, I've read plenty of fiction books, and very rarely do I even see them refer to the character's skin color at all. In fact, in a book I recently read, the skin color was described as tan. So am I supposed to assume person of color just because of that? Without any confirmation from the book or any unspoken permission, I couldn't see Hermione as black. It just amazes me. Have these people ever heard of something called imagination? You see, it's something that you can utilize to conjure up an image inside your mind. And with a book, you have amazing freedom to do that because all you have to look at when you read a book, usually, is text. Once the movie adaptations were released, I thought it was natural to see a white Hermione, even though part of me wanted her to be black. And you still really haven't said why she needs to be black. I'm sure we're going to get to that, but I still don't see it as a necessity because this person said that they related to this character growing up. So obviously the character was good enough. By this point, some people are reading this and saying, there are still other people of color in the books and films. What's the big deal? Well, that's not what I said. There are people of color in the books and films, but they are secondary characters. Oh no, not secondary characters. Since they have less important roles and aren't as seen as often as the main characters of Harry, Ron, and Hermione, they are less memorable. As a result, it is easy to forget that there are people of color in the books until one of the main characters mentions or interacts with them. Well, considering they're not one of the main characters, it kind of makes sense that they aren't featured unless the characters mention or interact with them, because the story is being told from the main characters' point of view or their lives. On the movie screen, what little time the characters of color have are reduced even more or made non-existent. The most notable instance of this occurred with the character Lavender Brown. Although she's never described in the books, she was originally portrayed by two black actresses, Kathleen Cawley and Jennifer Smith. Neither of these roles had speaking parts. In the sixth film, Lavender Brown became the love interest of Ron, but was replaced by a white actress, Jessie Cave. Okay, that's a little stupid and weird, but if the person didn't even have speaking parts, chances are that people might not even know who she was unless they were like a really big fan of the book series. Even then, it might be hard unless you read the credits at the end of the movie. I mean, now this character could have had their name called or something, and then, you know, either looked or stood up, and I guess that would make it apparent. but that withstanding, yeah, I mean, I can see why it would be a little weird that she was switched. Maybe she was just transracial and going through a phase. Even though Hermione is black in the new stage play, I feel like this Hermione may be less memorable than the white Hermione. Because you're putting it in your mind. And something else that bugged me was that thing about unspoken permission earlier. Like, why do you need permission for the character to be black if that's what you want to imagine them as? I mean, it's your imagination when you're reading the book. Nobody's there to stop you. I mean, are white people just so oppressive that they can oppress your imagination and prevent you from thinking certain things? Unless the stage play is broadcast live on television, like the recent Broadway musical, The Wiz, only a select group of people are going to be exposed to the Black Hermione. Man, Broadway must be really going downhill if they have a whole musical about taking a piss, huh? Without enough exposure, and yes, I know what it really is. Without enough exposure, many black girls aren't going to have that unspoken permission that says, I'm a black girl and I can be Hermione too. Ugh. You don't need permission for this. You literally have the freedom to imagine whatever it is you want to imagine. I mean, there's a such thing as wearing a costume, and as far as I know, the act of cosplay isn't limited by your skin color. I've seen a variety of photos where people do not share a race with the character, and they look fine. They pull it off. It's a matter of how well you recreate the costume, not what color skin you have. For marginalized people, not seeing someone who looks like you on a regular basis affects how you see the world. No. For insecure people, not seeing someone who looks like you, whatever that even means, because isn't it racist to assume that people that share the same skin color look alike? I mean, not all white people look alike. Nobody of a specific race all looks alike. I mean, obviously they share similarities. Nobody's denying that. But to say someone who looks like you, well, if you want to see someone who looks like you go into your bathroom, you look in the mirror, and there you are. You don't need someone else to validate your existence. And I'm getting really sick of this narrative. In an article from Media Diversified, a teacher described an incident that occurred after giving the children a writing assignment. The assignment involved writing a story with a protagonist that used the name of someone in their family. A Nigerian boy was reading his story aloud to the class, when another boy stood up and said, "You can't do that. Stories have to be about white people." Okay, come on now. If this actually happened, that is just one ignorant kid, you know? That's somebody that needs to learn that fiction can be anything you want it to be, or you can write about whatever you want to write about. You're not limited. Stories don't have to be about white people. So clearly the kid's a moron. You know, nobody is within their right mind is going to stand up and say, well, that kid's right. Imagine this sentence echoed in the mind of a young black girl after seeing white Hermione more than black Hermione. Oh, the tragedy. In a time where female nerds are still considered an anomaly and black women and children are victims of police brutality, a black girl unconsciously being told that they can't be clever and outspoken like Hermione is just plain wrong. But that's subtext that you're pulling out of it. It's not actually there. You're just reading into this the wrong way. You are assuming, because it's not specifically stated, that it's not okay. And that's not true. And I like this whole, female nerds are still considered an anomaly. That is bullshit. I thought females were, 50% of gamers or something like that. Since when is it now an anomaly? Man, they just can't keep it straight. According to a recent article in the New York Times, Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling has approved the new casting of Hermione and was involved in the casting decisions. But as magical as this decision is now, this is a spell that should have been cast a long time ago in the books and films. Yes, because, there's absolutely nothing more important about a character than their race. How boring are you people? These are the same type of people that think the most interesting type, or, the most interesting type of character is, it's based on their sexuality and their gender. These are boring aspects of a character, and they should not define a character. If you can relate to somebody, it's because of the emotional sentiment, not because their appearance. And if it is, well, you're being a bit shallow now, aren't you? Well, this is just another way that people decide to come swoop in and, spin the narrative to fit what they want to say. Before, you had people that were crying, "Oh, this is a social justice move, and J.K. Rowling is one of those SJWs for approving this." And and then on the flip side, you've got these people coming in and saying, "Well, she might be black now, but it's still not enough. She should have been black from the beginning." And there's no reason why. Like, I don't watch movies with featuring black characters. Like, I don't go and I watch Bad Boys or Beverly Hills Cop and say, "Man, I wish Martin Lawrence and Will Smith were white so I could relate to them. I wish Eddie Murphy was a white cop." Get the fuck out of here with that. Come on now. It's ridiculous.